welcome to my views and news. Two new stories. Firstly, a good news for Ethiopian government, which is in the grip of economic crisis, in dire need of financial assistance as foreign exchange reserves are dwindling fast. Birr value is declining rapidly. There is a difference between Bird's price, official price, and price in black market. Now it seems that Ethiopia is going to hear a good news in the coming days. Secondly, viewers, Orthodox Church of Ethiopia filed a case with the Ethiopian Federal Court against splinter Orthodox faction, mainly based in the Oromia region of Ethiopia. Several hearings have been held on Thursday. A hearing was held. It was being said that on Thursday, the court could make a final decision. What happened at the court in Addis Ababa yesterday? We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, the biggest challenge for PM Abiy's government these days is economic crisis. Ethiopia is in dire need of direct financial aid, not humanitarian aid, which obviously Ethiopia has been receiving for years. And we know that UN, EU, US, Canada, several countries of the world, they are providing humanitarian aid to the people of Ethiopia. But what Ethiopia needs now is direct aid for the government, cash for Ethiopian government. And that is what Ethiopia has been trying to get from somewhere. We have seen that Ethiopia needs this cash for payment of its loans too. It has to make some payments in coming weeks. It does not have foreign exchange reserves. There is a deficit between export and import volume. So what Ethiopia has been trying to do lately is that it was trying to get some loans, grants from IMF and World Bank, and for that you need approval of EU and US. It tried to contact China. PM Abiy went to France. China and France are leading a committee formed for loan payment rescheduling of African countries. That is why PM Abiy visited France and Amashide visited China. But we did not see any announcement in terms of direct financial aid for Ethiopia from China or rescheduling of Ethiopian loans by G20 or by China. But efforts were underway, and PM Abiy has been trying to woo Arab countries as well for some sort of financial rescue, for bailout. No announcements so far. Maybe talks are underway. But a good news for Ethiopia is that US is coming to the rescue of Ethiopian economy. As I predicted 2 days ago when I said that Antony Blinken was due to visit Ethiopia. And I said that visit would mean a lot to Ethiopia if there could be announcement of some financial relief for Ethiopian economy. And that is what is going to be announced reportedly. Diplomatic sources are confirming that US government is going to offer financial aid to Ethiopian government. Reportedly, decision has been made largely. Consensus has been created. Though some sections in US government say that the government should get more assurances from Ethiopian government. But in principle, American government, Joe Biden administration has decided to give financial aid to Ethiopia. This financial aid could be in different forms. There could be announcement of some direct aid, some loans, grants, and there could be facilitation for approval of loans for Ethiopia by IMF and World Bank. And yesterday we heard from some IMF officials that talks were back on the track between Ethiopia and IMF for a loan approval for Ethiopia, and that momentum was back. You see, this momentum is back. It means that US is now backing a bailout for Ethiopian government. And we could see announcement of this bailout in coming days, or when US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visits Ethiopia, which could happen, I think, this month, later this month. Now, we can analyze the impact of this aid in a separate video. We'll try to analyze it, because we know that growing US-Ethiopia relations will definitely frustrate Eritrean attempts to keep US an insignificant player in Eritrean neighborhood. Eritrea trying to create a regional alliance backed by China, Russia, would be frustrated. But in a separate, we'll try to analyze the impact. So far, a good news for Ethiopian government. In coming days, we could see announcement of some loans and grants for Ethiopian government. But we'll have to monitor the ongoing Human Rights Council session as well. We heard that Ethiopia was planning to table a motion for putting an end to the mandate of UN Inquiry Commission at the ongoing Human Rights Council session. So far, resolution has not been tabled. Both EU and US, they are backing the continuation of the mandate of UN Inquiry Commission. Why? Because they want to keep pressure upon Ethiopian government. If Ethiopia decided to table a resolution to put an end to the mandate of UN Inquiry Commission, we could see change in US-Ethiopia relations. So far, Ethiopia is optimistic that US could help it financially. That is why Ethiopia might postpone tabling of resolution. Though we don't have any solid information about this postponement. We'll have to wait. 5-week-long session of Human Rights Council underway. It means that we have almost 4 weeks to go. Let's see. I personally think Ethiopia is in need of financial aid. First priority is financial aid. So Ethiopia might postpone the tabling of the resolution for putting an end to the mandate of UN Inquiry Commission. Secondly, viewers, Orthodox Church of Ethiopia filed a case against splinter Orthodox faction a few weeks ago, when splinter faction took control of church properties in Oromia, East Valaga, West Valaga, West RC, in southern Oromia. Several church properties have come under the control of new administration of the Orthodox Church, appointed by 3 archbishops, Abune Severos, Abune Zinmarkos, Abune Evastotios. Though the two sides have reached an agreement, but the appointee bishops are not being restored, their appointments are not being accepted by the church. That is why confrontation is ongoing, and the church has not withdrawn its case from the court. The court has heard church's case. Several hearings have been held. Last hearing was held on Thursday, and now it was expected the church could make final decision on Thursday, but no final decision has been made by Ethiopian Federal Court in Addis Ababa. Rather, the court has delayed the final decision. 90-day prohibition order has been announced by the court. It means that status quo will be maintained in Oromia for the next few months. And after the end of this 90-day period, the court will again meet, and then we could see final decision. Court is basically trying to delay the final decision. Why? Because decision in support of one party is not likely to be respected. If courts rules in favor of church, Orthodox Church, it would be difficult to implement the decision because Oromia regional government, Oromia forces are backing the splinter faction. And if if court rules in support of a splinter faction, church would reject, it could reject the decision. That is why I think court is in a difficult position. Ethiopian courts are not independent. Everyone knows that the courts cannot make big decisions without a nod, without an approval, without a consultation with the Ethiopian government. So it's a key case. It will have national consequences. That is why court is keeping the final decision pending. So far, the splinter faction will remain in control of churches, which they took in the last 1 month or so. But the faction will not be able to take control of new churches. It means East Valaga, West Valaga, parts of RC and Southern Oromia, they'll remain under a new group. Shua under old administration, Abune Mates led. Jimma as well, I think. Jimma Archbishop reported back in Jimma, though I have not seen in pictures. Jimma back reportedly under old administration, Shua already under their control. Mainly Valaga. Valaga is under the control of new splinter faction. It will remain under the control of this faction until final decision is made. Thank you for watching.